So you want to beat your first extreme demon, and you decided that Accu would be the way to do it. Well, you've come to the right place, because in this video, I'm going to detail everything you need to know about Accu, how to beat it, and some tips and tricks to make some clicks completely free. Now, the first thing you should know about Accu is that it's entirely timing based. If your skill set is based on timings, this level is going to seem a lot easier to you than if your skill set is based on something like ship or wave. Now, don't let that drive you away, because you do want to become a well-rounded player, as it will help you down the road in Geometry Dash. It is also important to know that the beginning is much more difficult than the rest of the level. Now, this may be frustrating when you're going from zero, because it'll feel like you're getting nowhere and you'll be dying to the beginning a lot. Now, don't worry, because the beginning gets really consistent, and just because a beginning is difficult is no reason to drop a level. It may be frustrating at times, but just know that you can do it, and eventually you'll be getting to the drop with no problem every single attempt. Another important thing to note is that it is around 1 minute and 15 seconds long, which is not too long in the grand scheme of things, but it's also not tiny. Because of the length, it ends up creating a situation where the gameplay is moderately difficult, and you have a moderate amount of nerves that you need to control as well. Especially since there are some choke points later into the level, but I'm going to give you some tips so you don't ever die to them. Because when I was learning the level, there were some clicks that I would never get past, but I ended up finding some strats to pass them every time without even trying. I mean, I made the clicks free. I literally made a section of clicks into buffers. I don't even know how I managed to find this strategy, but you'll definitely want to wait until later in the video to see. And lastly, if this is your first extreme, it's going to be a big step up from whatever you beat before. Some people still find the level difficult even after beating some extremes. So make sure you just don't give up, because eventually you will beat it. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop into a practice run so I can show you exactly how you can beat the level. So for the beginning, all you're going to need to do is click to the music and hit every orb slightly late or towards the middle. For that orb, you're going to want to hit it right after you hit that blue pad, so you end up going down. And then for this click, you want to click on this G in Nage View. Now, yes, it is a G. It looks like a C. Yeah, I get it. But if you click right there, every time, you'll end up passing this click perfectly. So as you can see, all I had to do was click to the music and then click at the G, and it worked. Now for this next section, all you have to do is hit these orbs while you're in the middle, and then you come up to this pick a path. Now, there's two ways that you can do this. I prefer the method where you hit this orb and then buffer that blue orb. The other method is to click on this platform late so that you land and then you just buffer the blue orb again. The method where you skip the yellow orb is much harder, so I would recommend just doing this path. After you pass this section, you want to click this late and then this late, and then you want to hit this green orb late and then click to the music during the wave section, and you will pass it every time. Just like that. Now after you've passed this wave, all you need to do is hit this inside the yellow portal, jump over these two spikes, then you're going to want to hit this late so that you fall, and then from there you're good. Now if you do hit this too early, you will end up falling just like that, and you won't be able to jump. If I try to jump right after, I only hit the spike. Once you're here, you want to jump late, then hit this blue orb, about the middle of the blue orb, and then you're going to want to hit this in the middle of this red orb, then in the middle of this green orb, and then in the middle of this green orb. So for this section, all you need to do is click to the music. Now, the only case in which the blue orb does not take precedence over the other clicks is this. On this one, you will jump, and so your gravity will not go straight down. You will have to touch here in the middle so that your gravity flips, and then it will act like basically like the ball game mode. You also have to click inside this yellow orb, or you will just go straight into that spike there. If you just click to the music, this is what it looks like. Now for this section, if you try and hit the pink orb, you die like this. However, if you hold, you pass everything. Then from there, you want to hit this late and basically just click to the music once again. I hit this orb late, then click to the music. Now these orbs are slightly complicated. So what you want to do is hit this in the middle or early so that you hit this, and then you want to buffer this immediately after you hit this blue pad. So you can click to the music, but you don't want to hit this early. You will be able to touch this orb, so you will just end up going down there. But you have to wait till you hit this blue pad and then hit this orb, and then you'll survive. And you do the same thing for the other one, and it works out. So for this section, you pretty much need to click to the music. It'll take you on the right path. But if you want to see the path visually, it goes from here, you hit this green orb, then jump, then hit this blue orb, then jump, then hit this blue orb, then jump here, and then hit this green orb very late. This green orb is the hardest part of it and is definitely the choke point of the beginning. But it's really not that bad, as you can just click it late and it gets really consistent eventually. So as you can see, it'll look something like this. Now for this, basically you're going to enter this wave and you're going to go up, click this orb so that you switch your gravity, and then you're going to go into a ship port or a cube portal and click those two orbs. Now this part is less so about music. However, you will see that this little sucker right here sticks out. Now he's frustrating. You don't think that you should be dying to him, but you will if you release slightly too early. So you have to make sure that you hold this blue orb down so you pass this little annoying little wedge right there. Now from here, you're going to want to click here, basically just click to the music once again. So you go up, then down, so you end up right here and you hit this yellow portal and you wait. Now you want to hit this toggle orb, which will turn you mini, and it's 2 fast clicks. So it's boom, boom. That's exactly the pace at which the click is, and they're basically micro clicks, so you really don't have to worry about holding them. So it'll look something like this. Now when you're here, all you're going to need to do is click here to have your gravity reversed. Because of these 2 blue pads that are upside down, you'll be ending up on this floor right here. Then you're going to jump and hit this black orb late into somewhat of a hold. Because it's a black orb and you're in the spider, you will instantly be teleported to this ledge right here, and you're going to wait till the pink orbs and click. If you do it properly, it should look something like this. Now from here, all you're going to need to do is click to the music. It's not very difficult, and it looks a lot harder than it is. You basically just click everything in the middle. If you click too early, you will probably die, and if you click too late, you will probably die. So just click in the middle of the orbs and everything pretty much works out. So as you can see, that's pretty much how it works. Just click to the music, it'll work out. All you need to do for this section is click to the music, but make sure you hit this orb late, otherwise you will end up on this spike like I just did here. Now for this section, all you need to do is click to the timings and micro click on robot clicks. You then hit this green orb and then do a double click where you hit this black orb and then this blue orb. If you do it right, you should basically stick to this bottom here and you'll be in the cube. Now on this section, you're going to want to make sure you hit this late, then hit this orb late, and then there's 2 green orbs that you're going to want to make sure you hold and hit them very late. It'll look something exactly like that. Now from here, you're going to hold this pink orb, but you're going to release it. Something to note is that you do need to buffer this orb. If you don't buffer, you're going to die to this spike more often than not. So instead, just hold early and then release. Once you reach this ship section, all you're going to need to do is hold into this portal and then do some basic flying to get through the 2 spike. As you can see, you hold and then there's 2 buffers right after that. Now this takes you into the duel. You're going to want to buffer this, because as you can see, there's a cog, so you will die if you don't buffer. And then you want to click this in the middle of the dash orb. Now, all you have to do from there is just jump, then hit the pink orb at pretty much any timing, and then jump again, and you're alive. And it's pretty easy. It's a lot easier than it looks. Now from here, you need to click in the spider. Just make sure you don't die. Just click at the right times. It's pretty straightforward. Once you pass the spider section, all you need to do is click to the music, you jump through this cube, then hit this UFO, and then hit this upside down portal right in the middle. You'll then end up in the wave, and you wait, then click, then wait, then click again. Once again, just click to the music. It's well synced here as well. You do need to make sure you hit this blue orb a little late, or you will die to that saw. It's pretty straightforward though. From here, all you need to do is hit these orbs about in the middle and you'll survive. This was the one that gave me the most trouble when I was trying to learn. Basically, you just click this whenever. You can click it late, you can click it early, whichever works more consistent for you. But you need to make sure that you hit this blue orb very late. Otherwise, you're pretty much guaranteed to die because the ball hits this spike more often than not. So from here, you're going to want to hit this cube portal late so that you don't die to this spike as I just did. And then you want to buffer this green orb to make sure that you hit this blue pad early. That'll set up this yellow orb a lot easier than if you were to hit this later. If you hit this later, you'll end up going too far, as you'll see, and it'll misalign your UFO clicks in the next section. Now from there, all it is clicking to the music in this UFO to make sure you pass it, and then you want to go in between these saws. This is a lot more intimidating than it looks, and it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. But all you have to do is just wait a second, then click to the music once again, and then it really just ends up working out correctly. From here, you're now in a robot section where you need to slightly hold, but don't hold too long, and then hit this pink orb after you've hit this yellow ring, and then hit this black orb after you've hit this blue ring. So once you've made it past this black orb, you're going to want to micro click onto this and then hold for the longest duration of the robot. If you don't hold all the way, you won't be able to make the jump. Now, yes, you have to click it a tad late, but after this micro click, it's pretty difficult to click it too early. And then you're going to want to hit the 2 red orbs early and then the 3 pink orbs in the middle. If you don't hit the 2 red orbs early, you'll overshoot the pink orb and you'll end up hitting the black orb. Now you also want to make sure that you skip the black orbs in between the pink orbs, or you'll just get thrown straight into the ground. Now once you're here, you want to let yourself slide off this ramp and hit this blue orb late, and then there's a pink dash orb that you're going to hit. Now once you hit this dash orb, all you want to do is click to the music once again. You'll hit this, you'll then hold on this blue orb and then hit this green orb, and it'll send you into a UFO. Now once you're here, you're going to want to hit this green orb, then this blue orb, then click here, and then hit this green orb. Now once you hit this green orb, there's really 2 ways that you can go about it. The first, and the more common method, is to hold off of this green orb and into this wave portal. Now the method that I did it aligns with the click sync of the level, and that is to click this and then do a short click in the wave portal to align myself better. As you can see, it's really up to personal preference which you want to do. However, I would recommend holding into the wave portal. The way that I did it during my completion was to click in the wave portal, which that being method 2, but as I'm doing this now, I find it to be a lot more inconsistent. By doing method 1, it seems to be a little bit more consistent, which is what you really want to be aiming for when trying to beat extreme demons. Once you reach this wave section, all you really need to do is to click to the music until this part. The wave is very easy up until this section. What you want to do is to hold into this yellow portal and then keep holding just long enough to clear this spike, and then click and hold this. Now, because you're holding and you're upside down, you're going to make this click a buffer so that you really don't have to do anything extra. You're then going to buffer this red orb right after. Anyone who really has played this level will probably tell you that this is the hardest click in the level. All you need to do is just practice this as much as you can, and eventually you will get it. It just is going to take some time. Now once you pass the wave section and the click right after, all you have to do is just click on these 3 red orbs and then make sure you skip this one. You will then jump into this robot portal and hit this yellow orb late. And then you're going to want to hit this black orb and hold your cube click. This is probably the second hardest sequence of clicks in Accu. Now there's 2 ways that you can do this, and that is 1, to jump here, hold after this black orb, and then hit this yellow orb. This makes it to where that there's only 3 clicks. Your other option is to click 4 times in rapid succession. When I beat the level, and I still do prefer this, I preferred the second where you click 4 times in rapid succession. As you can see, either way works. However, I find that the 4 times in rapid succession is much easier. Now from here, all you have to do is hold this orb, and then you just click these late. After spider clicking to this, all you have to do is hit this black orb as a hold, and then you'll end up as a cube, and you're going to fall and then jump into this ball portal right here. Once you've gotten here, it's just a simple click there, and then another hard section. Now this isn't nearly as hard as the other 2 hard sections, but all you do is fall off this ledge as a cube, hit this black portal, and then make sure you buffer this pink orb, and then you click 3 times as the UFO. It's important to note that you have to click this orb slightly late or you will interact with this saw right here. If you click too early, you're going to die. If you click too late, you're going to die. So you need to click somewhat in the middle, however slightly late. This next section is probably one of the more difficult sections, and I'm going to explain why. So, as you can see here, I have just died to this spike when I buffer this pink orb. However, there is a way to make this pink orb a buffer, which is an absolutely broken strategy. If you do not do the method that I'm about to teach, you have to time this pink orb into a hold, which is a lot more complicated than the way that I teach. If you do it this way, this becomes an entirely free click, which is otherwise one of the hardest clicks in the level. So if you want to do it my way, you have to click this orb very late. You click this black orb so that you hit the edge of this platform as a cube. You will then hold off of this and you will land on this platform. If you continue holding, you can then buffer the pink dash orb and the pink orb and not have to do any sort of timing. If you do not click this early and instead wait and click like here and then hold, you will have to time this pink orb. By hitting this to where you jump extremely early as the cube, you only have to do a buffer. It is by far the easiest way to do this click. So if I slow it down, you hit this early and then you buffer these two. And then it's completely free. As you can see, I just buffered and I still survived. In full speed, it should look something like this. And it's really consistent too. As you can see, if you just hit that orb, even you have a lot of margin for error on that because you don't actually have to hit it that early and you'll pretty much be able to buffer every single time. Now that we've gone over that trick, we can move on to the rest of the level. The rest of the level is pretty simple. It's probably the easiest part of ACU. However, it's also nerve-wracking. Almost every click is late, which is bad for nerves because when you get nervous, you get a little bit impatient. All you want to do here is you want to click this green orb late once you're falling off so that you land here. You will then fall and jump here. Then you'll click this pink orb over here late and then hit the dash orb in the middle. Now you want to release the dash orb slightly early so that you can buffer the green orb. If you do not release early, then it's going to be more of a timing and it's going to be a little bit more inconsistent. Not necessarily a timing. But if you release the pink orb early, you can just buffer it like that. And then from there, you just hit this pink orb and then this blue orb, which sends you into a yellow pad, I believe, and then you get sent flying up here. And then you want to hit this dash orb in the middle or late. You want to try and not to hit it early because you will hit this spike a lot more often than not. So you hit it late, and then you hit this in the middle. From here, you're going to hit this green orb to make sure you get here. Then you click this blue orb early so that you hit this pink pad into this blue pad, which turns you this way, and then you hit this blue orb to hold here, and you will hit this block right here before the saw, as long as you hit it early, and then you'll be able to do the UFO click. Now once you're here, all you have to do is hit this dash orb somewhat late so that you don't die to this spike, then hit this blue orb in the middle, and then this blue orb slightly early. If you hit it late, then you will end up hitting this saw because of the UFO's trajectory. Now then you do a micro click and a click inside this yellow portal, and you'll end up here. All of this, by the way, is done to the music. Now once you're here, you're going to double click this so that you end up on this ledge and then hold off of here so that you hit these blue pads and get turned to the normal gravity. Once you're in the normal gravity, you do a micro click and then another micro click so you hit this pink pad and then hit this yellow orb late, which will send you into the final part of the level. So what you're going to do is hit this dash orb in the middle so that you fall into a blue orb, which you hit in the middle, and then buffer the green orb, and then hold right after. Because the triple spike moves down, you don't actually have to do it, and all you have to do is hold. Just like that. And that is how you beat ACU. If you have any questions, make sure to ask me in the comments, and I'll make sure to answer them. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, because I plan on making videos for every level that I beat, and a guide to how to beat them. Anyways, thank you for watching.